Hong Kong has been ranked at the top of the whole world in terms of having the highest density of high net worth individuals. Actually, we rank number 5 among an elite group of cities, San Jose in US, Basel, San Francisco, Geneva. And actually, Hong Kong ranked number 1 in Asia in terms of having the highest number of high net worth individuals. Unveil this fast track program by sharing with you the roster of some elites, members of our corporate champions, 70 plus to be exact. So among these 70 plus corporate champions, and by the way, these are the ready buyers of fintech solutions, because these are the ones that are very progressive minded. They have the drive and resources to in a way embark on this whole fintech journey. Now, but when you look behind the 70 corporate champions, actually you would notice like 40% of these corporates are actually having the headquarters in Hong Kong. I mean the global headquarters in Hong Kong. Another 45% of this elite group actually have the regional headquarters in Hong Kong too. So that's why you can see that this group of folks, most of them have the decision makers in Hong Kong, which is very important when it comes to B2B fintechs.
So far, 2021 has been a pretty good year for the wealth tech sector. The amount of total fundraise actually hit record high, almost reached 6 billion globally. Of course, it's been dominated by like mega rounds. For example, like Robinhood, they raised a big round ahead of their anticipated IPO. But overall, if you look at the number of deals in early stage, it hit record high as well. In Asia, we see like sizable raise from like either retail investment platform or like robo-advisor. For example, in China, we see Weibo raise a big round. And also, for example, like in India, Bit raise a pretty decent sized round as well.
We are actively building what we call our SpiderNet ecosystem, which is a consortium of companies that can work off each other's technologies and network and make each other stronger. So we have invested into digital insurance company. I mentioned about digital banks, digital asset exchange company in the region, digital payment, AI, so on and so forth. So all these have the network and resources, and combined, hopefully we are able to empower and help these companies grow. And InvestTech, and wealth management, and also asset management tech is something that we are very actively looking into. In fact, we actually incubated and InvestTech company and wealth management tech company a couple of years ago, which is based in Hong Kong, looking at connecting the wealth from the Asian region and getting in touch with international products in credit, in equity, in PE. So that platform has been very successful, and we are actively looking for more.
We were the first quote unquote virtual bank actually to launch in Hong Kong. We launched our fully digital wealth account, complete with onboarding in less than 15 minutes. So you can actually onboard, invest, and start trading very, very quickly in our platform. So it's a really great offering for our customers. And we feel that the advances that have happened in the last 1 to 2 years are just really helping to accelerate this journey. They're really helping the drive to digital channels. They're doing some of the work for us, where we're really working with our customers one-on-one when they come into the branch. If they're not using our digital channels already, kind of walking them through, showing them the app, showing them how easy it is to use. And then others, you've got the early adopters who get it right away. They download it and they get going and they're on their way. So I think it's just, it's been great for Hong Kong. It's of course seen the pace of acceleration just move at such a rapid pace to these online channels. And I think it's great because it's just, you see customers now demanding and even wanting more.
When we look at like fintech startups, we would normally see whether they offer any kind of, be it like, for example, robo-advisor, whether they offer any ESG products, or let's say for retail platform, whether or not they provide any kind of like financial literacy training, right? So to us, it's actually quite important on top of like looking at their like social impact, for example, whether the platform can create more jobs, and also in terms of the workforce, whether there's any diversity or inclusion. And on top of that, definitely we'll look at their corporate governance as well, whether there's any proper internal control in place. And we do see more and more like startup actually like focusing on this quite early on, as it's actually driven by investors as well.
Our experience of going from a startup companies about 5 years ago when we took over the platform AMTD, and now turning it into a listed company within the past 5 to 6 years. I think that experience is pretty valuable for companies that we work with and invested in and help them to become a listed company. Never a dull day in the international capital markets. And I think our experience, helping these companies to navigate through the market volatility, helping them to pick what is the right way to raise capital, whether that's private, whether that's public, whether that's through IPO or through a SPAC or through other means, even debt offering. I think that really that information or that knowledge really can help a lot of these companies, especially startups, to navigate what is the best form of capital for them, depending on the stage of the company. Working with the right investors is very important, right? And attracting the right investors that will support the business, rather than just looking at financial investments, right? Especially strategic investors that can offer them resources that can help them to take the company to the next stage, not just write a check, but really have the passion about the business and understanding the business and supporting the founders. I think that is very key, and that is where arrangers or investment bankers like ourselves can help these startup companies to access these different pool of capital. Like I said, I think it's really case to case whether public capital is best for them or private capital is best for them. It's different case by case, and really takes a little bit of knowledge and experience helping these startup companies to navigate that.
I feel that we do have a responsibility, and that's where I think you have to be careful with robo-advisors, because it is fully digital. You're not going to have someone reaching out to you, kind of saying, well, do you really want to buy that stock? Have you read the news? Do you understand kind of market conditions? And I think, unfortunately, some people who are really just those early investors are taking risks that may be a bit out of their range. And so that's why I do feel we're in a very unique and special spot in our company where we take that phygital approach, so that we'll make sure that investors are investing at the right level that's right for them, at the right risk level. Those who have been investing longer, have more experience, maybe can take some more risks. They've been through, the ups and downs of financial crises. They understand the risks and the rewards, of course, as well. And so that's where the RM, the relationship with the relationship manager is so valuable. And that anyone who opens an account with us, they do have that RM.
It's actually important to promote financial literacy. Of course, like if you are only putting in a small amount of money is okay, right? But then like if like people start like kind of like hook up to it and start to invest more and more money into it without really knowing what they invest, this is not what like as a responsible investor or the regulator would like to see.
In terms of technology innovation, fintech, China ahead of everybody in the world in leaps and bounds, right? Hong Kong, it's I think it's making a big push, but China has started many years ago, and as you can see now, a lot of the new economy companies are very successful, right? Some of the largest listed companies are Chinese new economy companies, despite the market volatility nowadays. So with the opening up of the Greater Bay Area, if Hong Kong can access to those technologies, to those wealth management products, that it's going to be very beneficial for people sitting in Hong Kong. And of course, when we talk about China, wealth, it's building up very rapidly in China in the past 10, 20 years. And there's a pool of readily available capital that are looking to invest outbound internationally. And I think Hong Kong, being the proximity so close to China, that obviously is a first destination of capital coming out from China to invest in Hong Kong.
It's amazing to have a space for fintechs to be able to work. Because of course office space is at a real premium here. So I think with Cyberport and Science Park, it's fantastic to have that kind of facility. That's really quite unusual, I would say, to have that benefit. Second, I would say that it's quite easy in Hong Kong to start a business. I've worked in Europe, I've worked in the US, and sometimes the paperwork and the administrative steps to open a business can be quite challenging. So I'd say we're very lucky in this market that it's really quite easy to start a business here. Third would be access to funding. Again, a huge advantage for Hong Kong, that you really have so many investors who are looking for new and different avenues for their investments, and who, as we talked about earlier, kind of understanding your risk level. I mean, you have many people obviously who are very, very seasoned and do want to take a risk and are willing to invest in young people with bright new ideas. So I think that's a huge plus here for Hong Kong, and then of course the proximity to GBA